Welcome back to the Glaze Studios oil painting tutorial, class 11. I am Gomuti Sivasankaran. We are continuing to work on the portrait of a baby girl. Let's just summarize what exactly we have been going through, also for the benefit of people who are tuning into this class directly. Okay, so the whole idea of this series of session is to use a portraiture as an example for you to understand the logic and the techniques involved with respect to oil painting. At the same time, certain other basic mathematical logic, for example, the golden ratio, or understanding the logic of distance, how do we apply that, understanding the logic of light and dark. So all these things we try to club into one package, and that's exactly what we have been trying to do in these set of classes. So we started out in the first class. If you haven't watched that, the first class is more about the oil paint itself, the brushes, the canvas, the challenges involved, and how do we use certain things. And then we got on to doing what is called a basic or first layer of painting on top of this 40 by 40 centimeter canvas. Then we started using the golden ratio. With the help of the golden ratio, we were able to place the baby girl's picture in the right spot that we wanted. That was one. And after doing that, we started the second layer, which is called blocking. So blocking essentially was the logic where we try to do light and dark at a basic level using a monotone. For example, I had used a brown color and a little bit of white mixed wherever needed to show the light, and the darker brown color to show the dark. So that's what we did in the second layer. The moment we were done with the second layer, we moved on to the third layer, which was a little more of the same logic of dark and light, but we were trying to build natural tonalities like the skin tonality, the the tonality of the shirt of the baby girl, and other things. So we were doing that, and the fourth layer is what we are currently working on. So the fourth layer was a little more into the detail, and that's what we started working on. We did more into the fourth layer with respect to the hair of the baby girl. We did that. Once we were done with the hair, we moved on to the shirt. Rather than working on the face and the skin color for the fourth layer, we decided to come down to doing the shirt and the pattern on the shirt, and work on the other subject, maybe not the key subject, the other subject, the baby girl's toy that she has got, because it's got a lot of character. The colors, show a lot of character. So we tried to work on that. And then one more thing that we tried to do throughout this whole process was to use this picture as the sample to work on. So this picture is already available on the description. You can download the picture. And this is what it is right here. But when we took this picture for us to learn, what we did was to take the essence of it, or the key subject, the baby girl, and one more key subject, the girl's toy. But the rest of it, the background that shows very clearly it's an indoor atmosphere where the baby girl is. We try to do our own imagination, building our own imagination, and doing something like placing the girl outside or outdoors on a bright sunny day in the grass. So we also learned one other thing of introducing our imagination to to do a portraiture wherever possible. So we keep the logic, the red thread of light and dark, or the red thread of distance, even while we are building our own imagination. That's the whole point of what we did. So this is our summary of what we did as a recap. And what we are going to do today is not the skin color of the face yet. We are going to work on our own imaginary aspect, the grass. So we're going to work on the grass, but remember, there's a vertical component called distance that we want to show. There is a horizontal component called the shadows, the lighting, where the light is coming and the shadows falling, that we want to show. So even though it's going to be a pretty simple thing to work on, this will have its own logic to apply and create our own substance in it. So I guess we have a very interesting set of activities now up ahead for us. Get ready. What I am having with me is that I think I will mostly use brush number 1, a round brush, or brush number 2. If I feel like, I also have a very minute brush, the zero brush that I've been using for a while. It's really old. I might get into that. And, if at all I want a very thin line, what I do. You might have seen the list of materials required and wondered what this is. I have a toothpick. So I will also use toothpick where needed to show you what I do sometimes, when I need an impression like that. You never know what can come to use, but be aware that toothpicks are sharp and the canvas quality, whatever it is, it will harm the canvas. So just be aware of that while using it, but we will see how to use all that as well. Yeah. So that is the plan for us today. I am going to use mostly, because it's grass, I'm going to use the olive green that I used for the basic shading on the layer 3, isn't it? So I already have done the flowers of layer 4, and with the flowers we also understood the logic of distance. So we are going to align with that with the help of green. When I want to look a little brighter, I might add a permanent yellow. If you have lemon yellow, that is fine. And to make it look a little darker, I might use the Van Dyke brown that I had, or dark brown. I have a little bit of it here in my palette, so I'm going to continue using that. I don't need much of it, but I will use that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. Yellow, I already have a little bit in my palette, so I'm not going to take that out right away. But the olive green, yes, I will take some of it. So I have some of it ready here. You can see from the last class, I still have some of the colors that I might use wherever needed. So I have the white, if I need to lighten it up, the yellow, that is there, and the brown is here. The black is also here if I really need it. Yes. Most importantly, I have a cup of coffee. Oh, yes. And this is up to you to choose whatever you feel like enjoying to drink and relax while you are painting away. And the oil that I use, you know very well that I'm using cold pressed lin oil, raw lin oil, linseed oil, but I will not be taking much of it because the pigment of the olive green that I have is good enough. I don't see the need of adding much of oil, but if need be, I have it ready with me in 2 metal containers, the small ones. I have them ready if I need it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the darker version. So what I'm going to do, I would love to have to start with light from dark. I think you have seen that in some of the classes already. So I want to show how I work on dark to light. So let me take the green a little bit here. Yeah. So I've taken it, and I guess I will take the bit of this brown to mix it and build a slightly the darkest form of green. It might look close to the brown. So I want the darkest form. And if you're wondering, okay, I do not have olive green. We talked about this in one of our sessions that the oil paint set that you might have might not have the same, pigments, the same set that I have. So if it is sap green, mild green, or whatever it is fine. Leaf green, just go with it. Just remember the logic. We should be able to achieve dark versus light, the tonalities, and show it clearly. That's the basic logic. Let's stick to that. As long as you are able to stick to that, it doesn't matter what you're using. I think in one of my classes, I also made the mistake of picking up a different blue, but technically the logic was more important to me. So it is fine. Just don't worry too much about it as long as you are getting the logic right. Yeah. So for now, the darkest tonality, where do you think it should go? To the left or the right? Or the middle? Yeah, the middle. The reason is, there is light definitely falling. There is light here. The sunlight is coming from the right side of the child. The child is not too big for this whole expanse of grass. So the left side of the child is also bright, but then not too bright, maybe just for us to give us a contrast. But then the baby girl's own shadow falling in the front is making this space much more darker, isn't it? So this is where I want to start. And this is one thing. There's also a place very close to the body on the right side where it is slightly darker. That's what we wanted to show. Let's now paint away, not make the grass. So the darkest portion, we are coming close to the toy. Let's do the toy first. So this portion is so dark, isn't it? One can hardly see a thing. So I'm just painting away. I'm not bothering about making it look like grass or something, because you cannot see so much detail when you're placing a camera or looking at it. The main subject is what we are looking at. When we look, our eyes also capture some of the details, but not too much. So I'm going to take the risk and make this look a little more darker here. And you know that I paint the sides as well. So I'm going to do this slightly here, and I'll come down. So see, I have done a rough paint. It kind of looks like, incomplete, but it'll give the turf that it is looking like grass or something. It is slightly darker here. I'll finish it smooth as well. Okay. And underneath. So I have done this. I'm trying to place it in a way that it is hanging, so it's easier for me also to work around and lift around whenever I need to. Yeah. Okay. While lifting around, I might have done not too much damage, but then yeah. So that's how it is now. Placed it back here. Yes. So that was the green. And where else? So that we are now starting with the toy. So let's place the dark green in other places. So here, I want to show a little more of the detail. So right underneath the flower, I'm just placing a stroke, few strokes to make it look like, there is some grass here. Not too much. So it's kind of, suggestive that I'm trying to do. So it's not going to be that, I'm going to draw the whole plane line by line. No, I'm just going to give some suggestive lines to give a feeling of grass being present here. Nothing much. So that's what we did here. And I will take this darker green that I made also to do the okay, can you see what I'm doing for the flowers? I'm trying to pull some lines to make it look like they are Can you put some more strokes like that here and there to give a feeling that it's taking slightly a quick dip into the oil, linseed oil, just to smoothen out my tip of my brush. Always note when we are working on such details, you don't want paint flowing through your brush. It should be so clean. Should be so clean. This whole neck of the brush must be clean. So ensure it's only the tip that's holding the color. I want to put some longer strokes, shorter strokes, whatever, and I'm going random. If you see, it's not so much detailing that I'm trying to do. I'm just giving a suggestive impact here that there's something here. I did that. And I want to show some more dark here, very close to the left hand of the baby girl. And maybe underneath her shoulders. Okay. So now what I did was to show some length in the grass, isn't it? That's what I'm doing. And I will do that same. Where will we do that? The shadow of the toy will be making a darker impact. So I would like to do that here to give an impact here as well. And also remember, between the fingers of the baby girl, that could be a space that's darkest. So again here, I start building more darker tonalities. I use the green that I did with the mixing with the brown, and I'm starting to do some more lines. Do not worry too much if the lines aren't coming right or thin enough or so, and that's why I said if you have a toothpick, let me show you that as well. So I have a toothpick, and if I want to create impression with a toothpick, so you're not going to poke, do not poke on the canvas. But if you take, let's say, roll the toothpick like this. You see the toothpick is holding now the green color, and you can start placing the toothpick if you want in directions that you want. But remember, you are only placing it somewhere. So can you see it's just leaving a smaller mark, and you can fill the toothpick a little longer if you want to build longer impressions. This is not a great idea. Ideally, you should learn to use the paintbrush to do this. But if you're a beginner and if you're worried too much about the thin lines that you want to create, you can use toothpick. But be aware, if it is sharp, so it might hurt your canvas. So there you go, toothpick works. But I'm making those crisscross lines. I'm not wanting to make it some of them a little thicker, longer, because these are closer to us, isn't it? That's the logic of distance. So I'm still working on something that is closer to us. So we don't have to worry about the distance yet. So it says comparatively longer grass that we are trying to build. And try to paint over also. So if you're done with some of the section and say, okay, I'm moving on to another section, go back, because you want to fill, maybe not paint every single line, like I said, but you want to make it look stuffed up little, that it is the grass. Yeah. So I'm just doing one to make it look like, it's coming all over and it's in the front of the baby girl. And remember, there is also a stronger, darker color tone that is very close to the baby girl's body, that you will have to remember to build as well. And it should not look like you are painting it, and I'm just making it still look like grass, so I'm just pulling it down. If you see what I'm doing, that's what I'm trying to do. And I try to do that in between the fingers, also the spaces wherever possible, so it doesn't look too unnatural. So I'm just trying to do that here and make it also pull down. What about a grass that might have started in the lighter area that is darker here? So that's also something to think of. I'm trying to do that. I have put enough here, I think. I want to show that, underneath the rings, there could be grass that are, falling apart because of the pressure of the toy, pressure of the baby, weight of the baby, or weight of the toy. So just to remember to show some bent lines as well. So some of the grasses are bent. Why are they bent? Because there is some weight on top of the grass. Okay. This is where imagination is. And these are basic things that you could imagine if you are just standing on a grass and just watch your own leg underneath your foot, where the grass might be, feeling the pressure or the weight, and then it's budging out of our leg. See, these are basic things you could, experiment with even yourself to think of what exactly would be the case here, and to put things around. Huh? So I think I have done most of what I wanted to do here in the section that is close. What about the distance? So right behind the child near the ears, that is where we are showing distance. Is there anything that's going to show? Maybe, maybe not. So I'm just, can you see the size of it? So now we are going on the vertical component showing the distance only for the darkest shadow area. So I am doing, if you see the lines, those were longer here as opposed to what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make it even thinner, almost, coming close to this. It is almost like a dot. I don't want to make it look really long. That looks like a dot. I'm just, putting I'm just doing this. Putting my brush, letting the tip of the brush alone touch the canvas. That's exactly what I'm doing here. So, yeah, for now it doesn't show much, but it will, eventually when we are done with the whole of the green, we will see the difference. I'm doing some of it here. And remember, when I do close to the horizon, I want to show some very thin lines that are, it shows like there is something going beyond, I want to show this horizon even well. So touching the sky. So I'm just trying to make some mark that shows that, there is grass that is coming close to the sky. Yeah. Just trying to do that. Okay. Now it's the time for me to move to another color tonality, isn't it? What do we do? I still want to keep this darker green that I created. Maybe I will need it. I don't know yet. When we come back to adjusting certain things, maybe I will see the need of it. So for now, I am going back to picking up this olive green. I will take a bit of the yellow. So it gives me another tonality, and that's almost close to what we painted on, I think. So it's going to be again another level of challenge, but let's do this. I'm going to use this here for these flowers. Underneath the flowers, I want a little bit of detailing. I want to show those lines coming up. There's another flower here on the side that I made, so I'm just bringing that down. Okay, and if the paint is overloaded, just as in my case, roll the brush. Roll the brush like this, so the excess goes away, and then you have the right amount in your tip of the brush. That's one way to go about having, even though it's a round brush. If you are not so convinced with the round brush, you can go to flat brushes and use them, tip them over. So you can do that as well. So do not worry too much with a round brush if you're not getting it exactly right. And I also taught you another tip, that is with a toothpick. So try as many as you want. Play around and have fun with it. There is no pressure about having this right or wrong. These are just strokes that we are going to put. So I'm doing it on the sides also. I'm working on this. So even though we painted, I will just show you here. Even though we painted almost the same green here, mixing the olive green with the yellow, it is looking different now to have the next layer done, fourth layer done like this. Will I paint underneath? Of course, yes, I will do that. The sides, yes. Again, putting in some strokes. I'm not worried too much about it. Okay. So I am going over doing the same thing on the other flowers, bringing the length of the flower, and then putting in some cross strokes, making it look. It's okay if it goes thick. Do not worry too much. It's a learning. So yes, we are going to go about the whole expanse like this. But when we go up, what are we doing? As small as possible then. Yeah. So we are taking care of the vertical component, the distance, by reducing the size or the length of the grass. And we are now working on the horizontal component, that is the shadow. Effect, we did the darkest area. We are now working on the next level. So we are doing well for now. Okay. I am mixing a bit more of the lemon yellow and into the olive green that I have to take some more and rolling my brush. So I can go ahead and do this again. Is it showing? Is it not showing? Do we need to add a little more of the green? Just look at it and see if you can create some right here. I'm parallel doing these sides as well, but if you want to see it, it's the same logic that I'm using there, that I'm doing on the front. Nothing dramatic about it. Like I said, doing sides is most of the people who do it. I think I also started out not doing the sides in the beginning. I was very much into what I agreed with my customer, and I tried to do it only on the frame, on top of the frame, not on the sides. And especially when I knew that the customer is going to buy a frame, then there was no need. So I'm also used to painting like that. I like it. But I discovered this idea of painting on the sides to be very challenging in many ways and interesting. And I just sort of liked it. And I said, okay, fine, I will continue to do that. And can you see when I'm going to the distance, I'm still working on the flowers. Those flowers are looking like dots already. So underneath that dot, what is it going to be? Another dot possibly to show the thin grass. So it might look like a larger expanse, but actually, if we go by the terrain that we cover into details, a lot of artists that are working on nature paintings, they go for hours and hours just to make the grass. And I just love the way they do it. And it's only going to be hours and hours of strokes. But you get better at it. It is a meditative process, like I said. Isn't it? Okay, I'm now making only small dots. So I don't know if I can show you in this angle. If I can do it. So what is really happening is that it's a risk that I'm taking because I cannot see. You can see better. So when I go into the canvas, look at the distance between my brush and the canvas. So it's only touching like that. That's it. That's it. That's it. Oh, that's what is happening. Yeah, I survived that without damaging the painting much. But we can always fix. So that's exactly what is happening when I touch the tip of the brush and do these shades. And like I said, I wanted to do these nice little dots here to give a feeling that there is this plane that is coming to a close. There is a horizon, and where you can see the finish of the end of the grass, and the sky begins. So I just love to show that slightly. I'm not doing much, but I want to show you how things are looking in the end. So I'm just doing it a little faster. And like I always say, if this is slow for you and you are fast, it's very good. Go on, do it. We keep doing faster. But if you are worried about the timing that you want to take it a little slow and this itself is fast for you, pause this. There is a pause button always in any of the videos. So pause and you take your own time to do this. Yeah. So it's almost dots. Morph to look like the grass on the top. But you look at the way it starts appearing. To be honest, when we did the golden ratio, I think this is the line that we used, the top line that we used for her eyes, and we decided that will be the horizon. There is this bottom line here, and it's now hidden totally. But if you look at it, where I'm starting to do these dots and making it look shorter, that's exactly another hidden line that you can go over as using it as a yardstick if you're wondering where should I start making these smaller grasses. Yeah, if you are not so in control, do the measure again. What did we do? It's 40 centimeter. We multiplied by 0.618 to come to two numbers. So one was 24.7, and that's what the line is. There is another line hidden that is 15.3. You cannot see the line anymore, but you can always use the measure to go back, and if you're so much particular, try to use that. But I don't think it's so much needed. You will always get it there. But just for now, if you are not so convinced, do that. Okay. So I guess I did the grass here. I will apply another layer of grasses because I want it to look even more filled. I guess I will do that. Like I said, the number of layers, you're never done. Never done. You're always thinking of, oh, yeah, I want another layer. I want another layer. You will get to that. Okay. So now it's time for the right side of the baby girl, or our left side of the canvas. And I think I have used up the lemon yellow with the green. I will possibly add a tint of white to lighten it up one more. So we are working from dark to light, isn't it? So I just want it to be a little more lighter. And it looks again close to what I have painted. Do not worry, you will still get it. You will be able to show the lines somehow. You will achieve that. If you're too much worried, add a tint of the um olive green again, or sap green, or mild green, leaf green, whatever you have. So you have it ready, and see, I'm rolling it. When you mix, you always load the brush with a paint. And look at the way I mixed. Even after mixing, I don't get the metal filled with the color. That's one clean habit that will always help. If not, just go wash. That's it. Okay. Going over these. Oh, yeah. It is showing, but maybe for you it's not showing that well. So I'm going to add a tint of the olive green again to this to make it a little more one tonality darker. And try these lines. How are they looking? Okay. Looks fine for now. I'm going to I'm coming right in front of baby girl. I'm doing the larger ones so you can see. That's so can you see? So I have only added a slight tonality increase to show these lines. And what is this orange? For the ones that missed the last class, I have shown you that I tend to give signatures on my painting also in layers, and that is my first layer of my signature, left hand thumb impression. I choose a color that is definitely not sitting with it, so it's prominent and one can see my left hand thumb impression. And on top of it, when it dries, I use another color to write the letter G of my first name, Gomati. And that's how I start signing. So I sign in layers, and that's why you see this orange. Now let's go over this. Let's see who's faster. Let's do this. Do not worry. Now you're an expert. You've already done some of it here. You're an expert. Do not worry. We will always do layers. Try this. Try the stroke. The shortcut that I taught you with the toothpick is slightly dangerous. If you're getting restless, you might poke into the canvas. That's destroying the canvas. We don't want that. Please don't rush into that. It's okay. Do this. Just have fun with it. It's only the tip. And remember how I showed you the 90-degree angle? You are going to get there. Yes. How are we doing with the time? Yes. We are good. We have some minutes left over, isn't it? We can do some of it. And if you don't like it, we'll do another layer. Or paint over completely. So enjoy the process and try doing this, the lengthy ones. So I'm going on doing the lengthy ones. And I'm showing the ones that is bent also here. I want to show some of it bent. Some of it behind her. Yes. Hmm. It is always convenient to have a small canvas like this so you can hold it in the hand and try. So if you see the process, I'm just um, loading the tip of the brush. If it's overloaded, I roll it over, then I take and then I go for a few strokes. And if you see, the strokes also sometimes look like they are not perfect. It's okay because it's going to reflect the image of grass that's all over. So don't bother too much about it and just go for it. Make sure that it's not a perfect straight line. It will not look so natural. So make sure you have some crisscross lines, one falling over the other, some bigger leaves in between. It's always not plain grass all the time. Yeah. So just try to do that. Yes. Okay. Just trying to see the places where I can go in, also keeping justice to you being able to view. And to be honest, when I'm painting, I'm all over the canvas. I want to be as close to the canvas as possible. So this is also a learning for me to paint from sideways uh, to show you. There's also good equipments that one can use to make sure that I'm still showing and being able to position myself better. But for now, what I have, I'm just trying to use. Like I said, we began with the plan of using some basic equipments only to try. So even if you do not have an easel like this to work on, you should be able to experiment this on a table. 40 by 40 centimeter canvas, I think it's manageable on a tabletop. You get smaller easels as well. I have them for my students. People have to go over another layer, I can tell already. This is layer 4, isn't it? Yeah. Sure, at least one more layer. I'd love to do. Going to go do this on the bottom as well. Just trying to balance it here so I can show you what I'm doing. So it's the same. But I will make sure that I start the line somewhere on the top and leave it in the bottom. So it looks connected. Yeah. If they end up like a thicker one like this, try to make it look like, a folded thick grass or something. Yeah. Yes, I have done here. Now it's time to do some on the other side. Okay, I'm going to bring it like this. Okay. Do it on this other side. The flower. There are flowers here as well, so bring them down. The dot, underneath the dot, put a dot. The way keep the distance logic. Make sure you're doing something that is, coming this way and connecting it to the main canvas, the front of the canvas. Don't do it in a manner that it doesn't sync with it. It'll show, when somebody has not got a frame and has put it on the wall, it will definitely show that you have done it differently. That's why I insist, go over in the same tempo, the same time that you're doing it. Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, I guess we are done with that side, at least for um, the ones from a vertical logic, the vertical component, the longer grasses we have almost covered over there. I think it is time for our shorter grasses to come up. We are coming close to the golden ratio line. I'm able to see, I'm not able to see it as such, but yeah, I am used to the logic, so I can figure out where it could be. But for you, if you want to measure, you can measure. You can see that you are almost there. You're doing exactly what I'm doing now. So with the dots, tick, 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 tick. Remember, we had some space over here. I did not know why I painted it slightly darker, but anyways. Okay. I'm doing the horizon also. Okay. So it's dot time, isn't it? Most of it is going to be dots. If it's getting potchy, it's also time for you to wipe off the brush. And or take a fresh brush if you think you need a fresh brush to use. It's also a good idea. But I think for now, for me, it is getting potchy, but I'm able to roll it on the palette and make it fine. So I'm still sustaining with the same brush without changing much. Yes, it gets potchy. So move over to the palette or cleaning cloth, whatever. Yeah, just double checking whether I did the horizon properly on the other side. I did. Nearly there. Patience. Thought, why? Oh, why did we start with the grass? Oh, there's also a shortcut. Now I'm telling you, there's also a shortcut to give an illusion that there is grass, and put few strokes here and there. So that's also another style of doing it. But I'm just trying to show you the logic of shadow and distance components. So that's also a reason why I'm making you do all these things. Otherwise, there's always shortcut, and giving the illusion or impression that there is grass. We can always do that. So I'm doing the same, the shorter ones, shorter grasses. On the side as well, and I am almost done. Yes. So this is where we stop for today. Okay. We have done some of the things. We might want to come back with another layer to give it more effect or so. We will do that. For now, I think it is okay for us to stop here. Yes. Tired? Happy? I hope. Fantastic. And look at how it looks overall. It looked like, we did do a lot of dots and spots and this and that, but on the whole, we have created an image. Starts looking like it's some grass. We will give some more realistic touch next class, or in the classes that are ensuing. Yes. So to summarize what we did in the class today, we started with only the green area. So we started working on the shadows. We made 3 versions of the green to work on the darkest of the grasses that would look because of the shadow of the baby girl and shadow of the toy and so on. So we did that. And then we also made sure that the distance is shown, the vertical component is shown. So we started making the length of the grass go down and down and down to almost looking like a dot towards the horizon. So we did that, and then we also made sure that the light, wherever it's falling through, so we took a lighter tone of the green to make the grass. We did that wherever possible. So we have almost completed the 4th layer for the grass. So what do we have left with is the 4th layer of the baby girl skin tone, and maybe we will not. I'm thinking not to do too much on the sky, but then it will need a slight layering. I would say maybe not too strong, but a 4th layer is needed for the sky as well. That's what we will do in our coming classes. Yes. If you have been reaching this far and focusing and doing your best at this, congratulations. This is a lot of hard work. I totally understand how difficult it is, and I totally appreciate your effort. Thank you very much for following me and following this session and trying to do this. Do share in your comments how you feel, what are you thinking of, what are you wanting to change, what are you wanting to learn. Okay. Also share your work of art. This is amazing that you have done something, so please do share that. I'll be happy to see. And looking forward to having you in the class again in the next class. See you all. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.